I do want to acknowledge the work that has been done, but there are many elephants in the room in relation to how students and where students are at. I want to acknowledge what you've said in terms of the chronic underfunding of the third level sector, and I hear that the Minister has said, I know that that will be addressed. I think we need a separate session to discuss that. But my fear is that students are filling the gap as they are at the moment, both in terms of fees, the highest fees in Europe, and in terms of the accommodation and the failure of institutions, even the on-campus ones, to refund the accommodation situation. So I want to concentrate on that, and also the postgraduate situation where full fees are being charged. We have the perspective, we have the promises. There are two issues here. Firstly, it's unethical, I believe, for students to be charged the full amounts when they're not getting the experience that they have been promised in the prospectuses for their education. There's also an issue in terms of contract and consumer law. If they're to be treated as consumers in terms of what they've been offered as opposed to what they're getting. When we did a survey earlier on in the year, we know that 4 out of 5 students were under financial stress and severe financial stress. I would put it to you that putting in measures for students' mental health is welcome and very good, but we need to take out the causes, and the biggest causes of stress at the moment for students and their families is the financial stress. So my question to you would be, do you agree that it's unethical and that there is an issue there in terms of contract and consumer law, in terms of the experience that students are getting, that they're filling the gap there for the chronic underfunding of universities, and can you assure us that refunds will be done for those who are looking for refunds for accommodation that they were prevented from using due to the late timetables and the lack of clarity that was given from government and from institutions as to what their timetable would look like? Thank you.
Okay, there's a minute and 30 seconds left in the slot, okay?
Briefly, refunds and accommodation have been arranged, at least in my institution, Trinity College, and I think other universities as well. So a lot has been done there. As far as I see Professor O'Hogarty saying the same. So if that's not done, I think it should be, and I would agree with you. So at that point, consumers, we don't see our students as consumers. We think the relationship between a student and a university is far more deep and meaningful than that just as a straightforward transaction. The cost of delivering the education has not reduced by online. As I said in my few opening comments there, it has anything, it has increased in providing the new technology that we need to deliver effective online education. So we too are sorry that the students' experience this year is not what as good as it could be, and where to be able to be there present on the campus. Mental health and well-being, I think you're on the money with this. This is the real key issue for students. I don't know that it devolves, at least we find, not entirely from the financial issues, but from the lack of ability to meet fellow students and their lecturers in person. That personal contact between individuals is the thing that the students most of all are missing. I mean, these students are, generally speaking, relatively young, between the ages from 18 up into the mid-20s, and that's the time of life where they should be meeting other people. And some would say evolutionarily programmed to do it, and yet we're stopping that because we have to prevent the spread of the virus, and that is having a well-being and mental health effect that we in the universities are doing our utmost to try and ameliorate.